Hey, what's up, guys? Here to talk to y'all about UFC 272 and some other news happening in combat sports. So I've been pretty busy getting ready for my match coming up on March 12th in Big Spring at the Warlord Invitational 8, but I do want to take a quick look at what's going on between Jorge Gamebred Masvidal versus Colby Covington. Now, I think the UFC and the media has done a great job of pitching to you the grudge match that's happening between these two, so I'm not going to get too much into the storyline. Basically, they're friends, they're boys, they trained together, lived together, and then they weren't. It fell apart about 2 years ago. A big back and forth about what's going on. Things have begun to get really heated, and yeah, I do believe it is a true, legitimate beef. If it's not, well, congratulations. These two pulled off a main event on a pay-per-view that's probably going to do like Conor McGregor numbers, and if they are able to make their money, shake hands at the end of it, and ride off into the sunset, well, good for them. But I seriously doubt that's going to happen, or I'd be really surprised if it does. So getting into the more technical side of this fight, I mean, both of these guys are coming off of losses, which is even more surprising that they're both in a pay-per-view main event. Both of them have lost to the same person, the king of the welterweight division, Kamaru Usman, who is doing his victory lap around the division, it seems like. So both of these guys have faced off against the champ twice, and Colby Covington came up short, once being stopped by TKO the first time and then losing to decision, and the second time they fought. Jorge Masvidal fought Kamaru Usman the first time on short notice, lost via decision, and then he got viciously KO'd in a stellar knockout from Kamaru Usman. So this fight has drawn a lot of eyes to it because it is so dramatic. I mean, it's the bad blood between these two, and we're looking to get a chapter to how this story is going to continue to progress. Although these two are fighting in the same weight class and typically are about the same builds, I don't think anyone's stronger than the other as far as speed. Maybe Jorge Masvidal has a little bit more of that, but when it comes down to the styles they fight, I think that's what's going to be the main difference. Jorge Masvidal does have strengths in his speed and his explosiveness, as well as his timing. He also hits from multiple different angles, and he does some of his best work when he's in the clinch. On the other hand, Colby Covington, some of his strengths are he doesn't take many steps backwards. He's willing to take the fight to you. He's willing to weather the storm in order to get his shots to land. He's not someone that's going to get intimidated. When Colby Covington is coming at you, you are going to have to break his will to stop him. There's nothing that is going to have doubt in him. There's not a single bit of doubt in that man whenever he enters that cage. It's very impressive to see. He's been in there with some very vicious opponents and has taken some killer shots, but he continues to move forward in order to be assertive and to be dominant. It doesn't take much for Jorge Masvidal to inflict damage that is noticeable and is also devastating. We've seen him be very explosive in the Nate Diaz fight, Kamaru Usman fight, obviously in his infamous Ben Askren knockout with a flying knee. But Jorge Masvidal does not like to get pressure. He likes to do his work out in the open on his terms. If someone engages him, he is more than likely trying to avert them until he can start getting his pace and his rhythm back. And like I said, Colby Covington is going to be pressuring. He's going to be trying to take that fight to Jorge Masvidal every single step of the way. I think the fighter who's going to be more successful is the fighter who's going to be able to get themselves settled and in the zone faster. I think that Jorge Masvidal does have a little bit more of a mental edge on Colby Covington, but then again, Jorge got knocked out in his last fight, and it was something that was surprising and devastating to him, especially since he hadn't been knocked out in his career and since who knows when. It's been a while. And when something like that happens, it can only lead to another obstacle to go across mentally. Colby Covington, obviously disappointed that he didn't get that title belt from Kamaru Usman the last time he was out. But as far as the performance, it was an amazing fight. Both of these guys were neck and neck. Some even gave that fight to Colby. Now, traditionally, this looks like another striker versus wrestler type of matchup, but I doubt we're going to get that. I don't think either one of these guys is going to try to take it to the ground unless it's an absolute desperate scramble. I don't think either one of these guys is trying to go for a submission. Both of these guys seem like they want to go out there and knock each other's heads off, and as fans, that's something that we love to see, right? There isn't going to be any hesitation when it comes to engaging. Now, I look to see Colby Covington go out there and try to pressure Masvidal up against the fence and also take control of the center of the octagon as soon as possible. Masvidal, in his opinion, is going to try to take the fight to Colby, keep him in the middle of the octagon, but also have Colby trying to hit air and being able to make him miss and also catch him off guard with his angles. Both of these guys seem to have great cardio. I think that Jorge Masvidal's takedown defense is underestimated. I mean, he's been in there with some great wrestlers and been able to hold his own, but Colby Covington does bring a different type of beast to the table. I mean, when he's going in for takedowns, he is fully committed to them, and he's going to make it a rough way down and a tougher time to get back up. Colby Covington's striking has improved drastically. We've seen that in his last time out against Usman as compared to the first time that they fought. When it comes to getting in their zone faster, I think that Jorge Masvidal shows up into the cage already in his zone. Colby Covington may be a little bit of a slow starter, but once he gets there and once he's ready to cause chaos and engage, it's really, really hard to stop him, and it's hard to get him off the tracks. When it comes to the chance of each of these fighters having a chance to win this fight, I mean, I don't think it should be this drastically different. I think it's much closer than what the numbers show. I think that Jorge Masvidal can always time out a good shot and end the fight, and I definitely think that Colby Covington has the possibility of winning this fight in multiple different ways. That being said, the fighter who has multiple ways to win usually ends up winning the fight. So honestly, to me, this one's a toss-up. So if Jorge Masvidal is going to win, it's going to be via TKO or knockout. And if Colby Covington's going to win, it's going to be via decision, knockout, or just maybe landing a submission out of desperation after wearing Jorge Masvidal down. Now, when it comes down to who's going to win this fight, honestly, I see Colby Covington winning in more ways than I do Jorge Masvidal. Colby Covington has shown that he has the gas tank to go the distance, he's durable, and he's able to load up on those takedowns and be able to control the fight and the pace. It's definitely going to be a tough night out for both of these guys, and both of them are fully aware that they're not fighting the same guy that they're training with or living with or whatever back in the day. These two are two different athletes who have completely different mentalities now, and yeah, they're coming for blood. It's going to be a great firework of a show. I'm very, very excited. So I'm definitely confident that we're in for another instant classic. So other things I'm excited to see from UFC 272 is Bryce Mitchell versus Edson Barboza. Bryce Mitchell is a jiu-jitsu submission specialist. Edson Barboza, an amazing kickboxer and striker. I'm looking to see these guys put on a great show. It will be interesting to see Bryce Mitchell in those camo shorts that he's been wanting from Venom. And yeah, this one's going to be a good stylistic matchup. Styles make fights. Should be a good one. The other fight I'm interested to see is Kevin Trailblazer Holland versus Cowboy Oliveira. These two are going to go at it. Kevin Holland is fighting up a weight class, and it's going to be interesting to see if he's able to use some of the wrestling that he's learned after working at AKA with Daniel Cormier. And Alex Oliveira, I mean, he's been around the block a few times, definitely a veteran, and he knows what he's doing in there. I don't think he's going to be intimidated by Kevin Holland, but Kevin Holland desperately needs a win. I know he just signed that contract with the UFC, but he's at a different weight class now. It's now or never for this guy, especially coming off that KO loss against Kyle Dawkins against that unfortunately ill-timed headbutt. I'm also excited to see Rafael dos Anjos get back in there after his short notice opponent change, and unfortunately he didn't get to fight against Islam Makhachev, who could have made a quick turnaround, but it happens. In other combat sports news, Tyson the Gypsy King Fury announced his retirement, and the heavyweight champ is finally going to be able to ride off into the sunset, and I wish nothing but the best for him. A very inspiring story. If you haven't heard the Tyson Fury story, very, very motivating, very inspirational. And also, if you haven't yet, look up into what's going on with Cain Velasquez, the former heavyweight champ for the UFC, one of the first Mexican-American champions for the UFC, and it's definitely unfortunate where he finds himself at, given the circumstances. But man, I mean, if you look into the story and look what happened, that dude deserves to be free. So please, hashtag free Cain Velasquez, free Cain. So please give him and his family the support and love that they may need. Also, please continue to pray for everything that's going on in the Ukraine as tensions with Russia begin to rise. We can only hope that the situation gets resolved quickly and as soon as possible. So thank you guys. If you haven't followed the Combat Contact Twitter page, please do so. Also follow my friends who are making some great content. As always, guys, stay safe, stay blessed. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.